Okay, our next problem that we're going to go ahead and do tonight is going to be on page 372, problem number 5. Determine whether each event is impossible, unlikely, as likely as not, likely, or certain. Then tell whether the probability is 0, close to 0, a half, close to 1, or 1. So our situation says this. Picking a number that is divisible by 5 from a jar with papers labeled from 1 to 12. Okay, so I'm going to start off by making a jar. So let's make our jar. And inside of our jar, we're going to put some numbers in there. I'm going to put the numbers from 1 to 12. So I'm just going to go ahead and put that in there real quick. So we'll go 1 through 6, and then let's go 7 through 12. Okay, and then over here it says divisible by 5. So we just got to remember what divisibility means. And what it means is you can divide the number by the number 5, it'll go in evenly. Like 25 is divisible by 5 because if I go 25 divided by 5, I get 5. Or if I went ahead and said, okay, well, is 21 divisible by 5? Well, if I go ahead and divide 21 by 5, I get 4. However, I end up with the remainder of 1. So this one would not be divisible. So I need to go ahead and take a look at our list. And in our list, we're going to go through, we're going to see what numbers are divisible by 5. Okay, so I start over here with 1. 1 you can't divide by 5. 2 can't divide by 5. And 3 also. 4 you cannot divide by 5. If you look at the 5, 5 you can divide by 5. If you go ahead and do that, you go 5 divided by 5, and you get a 1, so you get a nice little whole number. That's good. 6 you can't divide by 5 because you'd have a remainder. 7, same thing. 8, same thing. 9, same thing. You can't divide that by 5. Once you get to 10, you can go ahead and divide that by 5 because if you go 10 divided by 5, you get a nice number such as 2. There's no remainder, so it means it's divisible. If we go to 11 and if we go to 12, you cannot divide those by 5. So in our situations right here, we have two numbers that I have circled. So that's the likelihood of the event happening. So there's 2 out of our total. So in our total, we have a total of 12. That's our total. And if we go ahead and divide that, we would end up with a 1/6 as our fraction on that one. Okay, so now we have to go ahead and kind of determine where everything is. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to bring up my number line. Okay, pretty powerful here. Put our 0, then over here, put our 1, and then right in the middle we have our 0.5. Okay, remember our 0 is going to mean that something is impossible. If I go over here, I want to make sure that it indicates that it is certain that's going to happen. And if you remember right in the middle, it's as likely as not. So as likely as not. Okay, so what you have to do next is you need to take a look at your 1/6 that we have right here. And you need to make a determine kind of where it falls on that number line. To help us out a little bit, I think it'll be a little bit easier if you go ahead and we divide the two numbers. We just take 1, divide that by 6. If you go ahead and you do that, you're going to end up with 0.16, and it just keeps on going. Okay, so I'll put that bar right above it, like a little bar. Okay, so if I go ahead and I take a look at it, it's going to be about, if I kind of estimate this as 0.25, and 0.16 is going to be kind of in this vicinity, right about right here. So it's going to be over here. the bar just to help us out. Okay, so let's answer our questions. So determine whether each event is impossible, unlikely, as likely as not. Since it's all the way over here to the right, okay, we can't say it's impossible because it's not at 0. Okay, but I would say it is going to be close to 0. It is going to be very, very close to 0. So answer wise, I would say close to 0 because it's closer to 0 than it is to that middle as likely as not. And then the second question, then tell whether the probability is 0, close to 0, 1/2, close to 1, or 1. Okay, well, I've already answered that one. Let's go back to the first part. It says determine whether each event is impossible. No, it's not impossible. So our next one is unlikely. So we're going to go with unlikely. Not too good of a chance it's going to happen. Okay, the reason I didn't go ahead and go with certain was because obviously it's not close to 1. It's not likely because it's not really close to that 1, and then also it's not going to be right in the middle. So it's a little bit closer to this one. Okay, so our answer on this one are these two right here. Hopefully they help you tonight. Thank you.